everyone? It's GT time, and I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us, as always, is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including Matt Blair, sitting in for Brandon Jones.
Brandon Jones again. Weird.
Daniel Bloodworth.
I'm not Brandon Jones.
And in the super seat this week, Michael Huber.
I wish I was Brandon Jones.
And making this all happen, Ian Hink.
Hi.
That was fun. Nice little chain.
We kind of did it.
Huber, you are in the super seat.
Oh, I always forget about this.
So you have a super seat question assigned to you.
What is the question?
Well, you know, it's summertime. Okay. Everybody's enjoying their summers. Everybody's
Yes.
going on vacations. Huber, if you could visit anywhere in the world, where would you go?
London.
Why?
I just have always wanted to go there. I've never been there. It looks really cool. It looks really fun. This has nothing to do with the
I
conversation
know exactly
earlier.
why you're saying that.
No, but for real, I've wanted to go there my whole life. I like the fogginess of it. Everyone always says it's like foggy and overcast. I like that weather.
I went to London in 2012 for the Olympics and freaking loved it.
Yeah, everyone always says it's
Whoa.
the best.
Yeah.
People that have never been
the
there.
Olympics?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
That
Yeah, it
is
was really fun.
cool.
I was there during the Olympics, but not for the Olympics. I didn't see anything.
So wait, did you see Olympic events?
Yes.
I'm so jealous. I've always wanted to do that. That's like a bucket list thing.
I saw one Olympic event, men's indoor volleyball.
That's hardcore.
That is a cheap ticket, and it was like the cheapest ticket you could buy.
Wait, you have to pay for the tickets individually?
Oh, absolutely.
What's the
yeah.
price, if you don't mind me asking?
I think that was $80.
$80 for
Yeah.
a decent seat, bad seat.
Not for a good seat.
Okay, wow.
One
so,
match?
so it's expensive.
No, for one night. So I saw a bunch of
Okay,
matches.
all right.
But watching it was so intense.
Yeah.
I got into it.
Yeah.
I learned to love the sport of men's indoor volleyball.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You went to London
Yeah.
and only went to one thing?
Yeah.
That's weird to me.
Well, no, I mean, I saw other stuff.
Yeah.
Bloodworth, hang on. What's the deal? Every time we start, you get like 6 inches shorter.
He's just
There.
relaxed.
What is this?
No. That just means I'm doing a good job being host.
Fix your chair then if you're going to slouch.
A good host gets everybody to relax. We're
You look
doing
like
it,
you're
yeah.
half down quicksand.
He's settling in.
I should note now, as being a good host, that it's going to be a relatively brief episode because of scheduling constraints. It feels old school. Like back when we were in Santa Monica, we had to do this all the time. We had to be like, oh, it's going to be a half hour because of scheduling. So probably about 40 minutes. So be prepared for that, everybody listening now. But let's get into it. Let's just get into this week's news. Huber, I hope you get to go to London, though.
Yeah, me too. I've been saving my airline miles for about 15 years. I got enough. So it's just a matter of time.
For you
years?
and
Yeah.
your girlfriend?
Yeah, when I was
both
16,
of you?
That's some incredible.
no, just for
rollovers.
me. So the two of us would split one
yeah.
ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
That ain't bad.
yeah. Just been racking up those miles, baby. Ever since I was like 16.
You know what? I even like the food. I liked the food when I was there. You're going to love your London trip. You're going to have such a good time.
It's a long way off.
Let's start corrections music. Prometheans are... That's a little loud. Prometheans are from Halo. Protheans are from Mass Effect. Both are clever plays on the word Prometheus.
Is
or
that
name
better?
Prometheus. It's too quiet now. Jeff Goldblum didn't actually say must go faster when filming Independence Day. The editor simply lifted it from Jurassic Park.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Here's the thing is, I don't believe it because he says it 3
His
times.
mouth, you see his mouth.
You don't. You don't
Oh,
see his
really?
mouth. I looked at the clip.
Oh, that's cool.
But he says it 3 times in Independence Day and only once in Jurassic Park.
He
So
says
I
it
think-
twice in JP, I'm pretty sure.
I think
he goes,
this
must
fact
go
is
faster, must go faster.
Yeah, and Independence Day he says it 3 times. Real weird.
I
Weird
mean, you
fact.
can easily just
But it's-
take the
it-
first one and repeat it again.
Is that just a comment? Or did you actually look it up?
I looked it up, and it's the fact is repeated in multiple sources. I just don't believe it.
It's really cool.
You know, it's like
That's
an
amazing.
IMDb fact.
That's
Call
so
Santo
cool.
about that.
Yeah. The novel is 1Q84, not IQ84, Ian.
Did I say IQ84?
You said IQ84.
I always do that. In my, it's just like a mistake I make.
Uh-huh.
I know it's 1Q84.
Yeah.
I just can't say that out loud for some reason. I've done that several times.
I guess that's just our internet speak. We're just used to seeing that thing, that one.
Yeah.
And that's what,
I'm
that's
just too late.
Well, no, when you
Too
see
late.
a line in front of a Q, your brain just thinks IQ.
IQ.
That's fair. Unravel had a live demo on stage at Gamescom. I didn't give him credit for that. Jen Taylor is the voice of Cortana. The phrase, "it's quiet, too quiet," first appeared in a movie called The Lucky Texan in 1934.
Awesome.
I much prefer it's Raph. A little too Raph.
What the hell are you
Anyone?
talking about?
Come on, man. Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze when they bust in to save Raph.
End corrections music.
Oh, bail me out there, someone.
No.
Someone in the
We're on a
chat
time
knows.
constraint.
My
Someone
favorite
knows.
quote.
Positive,
My
yeah.
favorite quote from TMNT. The first one I think is when they go radical.
Yes.
Is that the first one or the second one?
That's the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
Oh yeah.
Turtles are good, man. Turtles
Yeah,
are
man.
eternal.
So good.
So let's, my favorite way to start a show is with a game announcement. This week we have a kind of strange game announcement. Resident Evil 2 Remake was announced this week as part of a video.
With a "We Did
Sort
It"
of,
T-shirt.
sort of an announcement before, but
we
yeah.
do it is what
we
his shirt
do it.
says.
Oh.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
it means
Really?
we did it. What in that sort of English.
Ah, okay.
No, they just do it.
We do it.
Yeah, because we talked about this a couple weeks ago on Shane's podcast when he had like did you see like the paper, like the doc where he like went in the pitch meeting?
Oh, the survey. So I didn't see it. No.
No, not
so,
I think. Well, I don't know if the survey was going on yet, but yeah, like he had like a booklet, like the whole like design doc, and like he had like tweeted a photo of it
oh, that's cool.
before he like went into the meeting or whatever.
Yeah, the survey was at the end of last month. It was like at the 28th or 29th of last month. A survey went out and said, hey, everybody, we want to get your opinions on Resident Evil 2. Now, a mere few weeks later, Resident Evil 2 officially announced in a video, in a sort of strange way, to be honest, in a video. You know what I mean? No trailer, no screenshots or anything, but it's just like, hey, it's happening. We have nothing to show yet, but thank you for filling out that survey, and here it is. Is this a weird way to make the announcement?
Yeah, because as he said, there's nothing. There's not going to be anything for a very long time. We might see something, before next E3 at best.
Yeah, because we should mention Zero HD just announced in May. That's not even coming out until 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a weird time.
Well, the other thing too about Zero is that they'll just do what they did with Resident Evil HD. So it'll they're using an existing remake.
It should go way faster. Is what you're
This
saying.
is going to be a whole
Ground
from the
up.
ground up. Who knows what they're going to do? Hopefully they'll do the same style with the pre-rendered backgrounds, but who knows?
That has me the most excited is a modern game, 2017, whatever, when this comes out. Fixed camera angles. Gets me hyped.
Can you imagine what they're gonna look like?
Oh my god. Pre-rendered fixed cameras now. My mouth is salivating.
But it's hard to say that they'll actually do pre-rendered though, because they could, it could be so much more efficient to use real time.
What do you mean by that? More efficient?
Just because of how much better things look now,
No.
No. Keep the vibes.
You're saying it's easier to make a game where you have like 3D exploration than it is to make one with pre-rendered backgrounds?
Well, yeah, actually.
I mean, you just set the camera to follow the guy, and then it's done.
Yeah, I mean, you could still have fixed camera angles if it's in real time.
If this game is not fixed camera angles, as far as I'm concerned, it's not Resident Evil 2. Period.
But,
That is that game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of similar to like how you see a lot of 2D games or being made in 3D. They're not using sprites and all of that. It's just a cheaper. It's cheaper to keep things in real time than to pre-render them.
Like that new Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
This is, to me,
Looked good.
So this to me is so different because like a pre-rendered background is pre-rendered. Like nothing has to render it. That's an image that you just have to load.
It has to be rendered.
Yeah.
It has to be rendered in a lot of detail overnight sometimes.
Well, yeah, but not in the game engine, he means.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. It's pre-rendered for the game.
Right.
Yeah.
I think in this case, it's probably easier to just up-res all the stuff and keep the cameras the way they were.
Yeah, well,
Up-res
unless they're like
wouldn't be a remake,
rebuilding
though.
Yeah,
everything.
you can't up-res it because it's so.
Those
it's
are some-
so dated.
So jank.
PS1
Yeah.
assets.
That is
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh yeah, because they had the HD of
one
That's
already.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't call it remake or anything. They just called it Resident Evil,
Resident
right?
Evil.
So when you throw that word remake in there, we've seen it with Final Fantasy and a couple of others. That means that they are going ground up.
Oh,
I think they'll just call it Resident Evil 2, honestly, especially from the logo right there. I think.
The logo that says remake on it?
Oh, it says remake right there.
Yeah, it says right underneath.
Sorry.
That's
Whoever's
just
head was right.
hopping on the Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VII train,
Maybe.
the hype train.
That's a fair assessment, honestly. And I do want to, Blair, I wanted to ask the panel this. Like, how much do you think that survey mattered? Like, how much do you think that was read? And, ooh, that was funny. What's happened here? How much do you think that survey was read and paid attention to and actually how this game is going to come out?
Probably more than it should be, but I don't know, like, what was the sample audience like? How many people did they actually get a hold of? How wide was that survey? I know nothing about it. Almost.
Just the people who follow Capcom on Facebook. It was
That's
like posted on their
probably-
Facebook page.
Probably. So it was open.
It was, yes, absolutely open. You or I could fill that out.
So, okay, that's fair.
I think it will. Just to interrupt, I think it will have an impact. I'm judging this solely on the Dragon Quest XI survey a while back, saying what system would you want Dragon Quest on? Overwhelmingly PlayStation 4. Next was like 3DS. Dragon Quest XI announced for PS4 and 3DS. So I think, judging by that, they listened to the survey. They listened to people.
So you think people listen?
Yeah.
Is what you're saying?
And I think the demand for Resident Evil 2 has been overwhelming. Everyone has wanted that for so long, like by far. They don't even want a new Resident Evil game. They've always wanted Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 2 Remake. It's been the most asked for thing, and they knew it, and now they're doing something about it.
Huber, I gotta wonder about that. Blood, do you agree with that? That Resident Evil 2 is the most asked for Resident Evil?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't believe it. Why
Yeah.
do you say that? Why
It's
do you
fans'
say that?
favorite. And because 1 got a proper remake,
Yeah.
and it's like everyone's favorite. Everyone always says 1, 2, and 4. So they wanted 2 to get that love. Ever since 1 came out, remake
Right.
style, everyone's like, all right, now 2. Like, do the same exact thing for 2. That's all you got to do. And, here we are years and years later.
Yeah, it's certainly not hard to measure the nostalgia for 2. Like, I think most people would agree, and then you'll have those stragglers to be like, well, actually, but no. Everybody respects 2. Everybody, it's pretty revered.
How long do you think it'll be until we get HD remakes of HD remakes? Like, when are they going to redo Resident
4K?
Evil 1?
We've already done that.
Yeah, I mean, Resident Evil Remake HD was that.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
but it wasn't HD before. It was.
It was a remake.
It was a remake.
It was
was
a GameCube
remade.
remake, yeah.
Now they just said,
It was,
you need it.
it was a remake of a remake.
So, like, how long until they remake Resident Evil 1 again for, like, the third time?
I'd say 3 years.
No, it's the whole franchise is in a really weird spot right now because you just had Revelations 2, which was set before 5 and 6. Now you
And real
have
good.
Very good game. Now you have 0 and 2 coming out, so they have yet to go past 6. It's just the question is, are they going to start remaking? Are they going to go on to 3 now? Are they going to remake Nemesis, depending on how well 2 does? Are they going to make Resident Evil 7? Are they even making Resident Evil 7 right now?
7's almost done.
Because this video said development team 1,
Yeah.
the prime core team. These are the main guys now working on Resident Evil 2. So it's just a question of,
It's gone. We lost that company.
are they going to completely reboot this franchise or start remaking every single game in it? I think the true test will be how well 0 and Resident Evil 2 Remake sell.
Yeah, that's interesting because when 0 was announced back in May, my fear was that they're kind of taking the wrong message from how well Resident Evil HD Remake did because it did very well. It did crazy well. It sold crazy, and I think they thought maybe if they put 0 out,
Yeah.
that'll do just as well. I don't think that's going to be the case for 0,
Right.
and I'm worried about this
Yeah.
even. I'm worried about 2.
Well, the best part is I love what they're doing. I respect it so much because when like a re-release comes out, like Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition came out HD, right? But it was hard.
There's your HD remake
Yeah.
of a HD game. Yeah.
It was
Which
it was
one? I missed it. What was it?
Devil May Cry 4 HD.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was hard because
It was
like
already HD.
1 and 2 and 3 weren't available. So it's like, okay, people I guess just have to kind of hop into 4. I love that they're bringing 1 and 0 out now before 2. So everyone out there that's missed the origins of this franchise, I know 0 came out a little later in the
Don't you hate
Release.
0, though? Because it, like,
I don't hate
undoes
it.
the Lisa thing or whatever?
Zero's a little weird, but the point is that they're conscious of like the timeline of the franchise, like the canon and the lore. So they're giving people an opportunity to catch up with 0 and 1 before jumping into 2.
Do you think you're giving too much credit to something that might be as simple as they just started giving out these projects to teams and some of them are getting done first? Or
Especially in case of 0, where it is just another transfer of something they just did.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like 0 is very much piggybacking off the first game.
Zero's a weird
because they were already in the same kind of production pipeline to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, then it's just doing what's easier first.
yeah. I don't think that they really took a very, meticulous plan to in what order they really want to do it. It might have just been like which teams get what and which teams are currently working on projects know what they're freed up, they can work on a different one. Because like we just had that survey, right?
It just happened. I don't even think you can read all those surveys that fast.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that it was just, that was just gauging, just getting like a little test of where the audience was while this guy was pitching this. Yeah.
No, I don't think there's a huge master plan that spans back a decade, but I think that they're just doing what they can when they can, and we should be happy to be getting anything at all in some cases.
Yeah, good to get good news from Capcom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about Capcom.
Talk
this
about a
year.
cool move.
Yeah, cool
Remaking
move.
Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Takes guts.
You're looking good, Capcom.
Yeah.
So I should acknowledge again, as a host, our computer decided to restart. It runs on
It decided
Windows.
to run Windows Update on
Yeah.
its own.
Sure.
Oh,
Oh, that's how
It's
Windows
pissed.
Update works.
Did we miss like
You
a
never
timer?
get. Yeah, you don't get to choose. It just
So
decides.
weird.
If-
Well, anyway, we lost the background completely.
So if you're a viewer who relies on the backdrop, I'm sorry about that, but it's a short episode anyway. You can just scrub through it.
I rely on it for editing.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, oh, we're in that section. Cool.
Yeah, well, when it's going to restart. So let's talk about PlayStation Plus. So PlayStation Plus subscribers now can vote on the next month's free game. And I always hate saying free game because it's not free. You're subscribing to PlayStation
It's
Plus.
free.
Okay.
It's free, Kyle.
Matt Blair is taking a note down. Basically, everybody, what do you think that's a good idea to be able to vote? Basically, what's presented is 3 games.
100% yes.
Love that kind of certainty.
Yes.
Why though?
Because, okay, so I've heard about this a month back or whatever. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. So a couple reasons. The main reason is because here we are given now these 3 individual games. I now have interest in all 3 of these games. I immediately went to the Wikipedia pages. I immediately looked at trailers for all 3. I was like, okay, what do we got here? What are we dealing with? Found out that Zombie Vikings is from the creators of Stick It to the Man. Great underrated.
I think they also is that the same people who did SteamWorld Dig
Different people.
Different
Yeah.
people.
Am I wrong?
Because they're working on
okay.
another
Yeah.
SteamWorld game.
and another game, some zombie game.
Really?
Pretty sure.
Blood
Maybe
has a
the
really
same
good
publisher?
example of this, actually,
What's that?
with how people just started clicking on the review for Grow Home.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
getting more views?
Yeah,
That's
just because
people
people are
commenting.
searching for
Yeah,
it.
that's funny.
Yeah.
See?
And they're like leaving comments like, who else is here because of the voting?
That's so funny.
So yeah, because that's what I wanted to bring up actually is, do you think that it could hurt some games? You know what I mean? Like sometimes getting that game, just having it given to you for free, you give it a shot.
Right.
Now I'm scared like that unpopular kid at the table will just not get voted on ever. You know
well,
what I mean?
because the 2 that don't get voted for get discounts.
that is we're
So
saying. Yeah.
I'm assuming, honestly, because it's so popular, Grow Home is going to win. Then Zombie Vikings will be discounted, and I'm just going to pick
But
that
if it
up.
gets a discount, does that mean it never gets voted on again? It will never be free? So like
They have not
It will-
said that.
but it will never be free. Yeah.
But
Yeah, probably
that's
not, yeah.
that's important though, right? Because I don't know if I'm going to buy it at a discount if there's a chance that I might get it free next month if it re-enters the voting. Or
No,
whatever.
I think it's 3 new games
Yeah.
next month, yeah.
Yeah, because it's always a new game, the free game.
Yeah.
Well, not always, but
Yeah.
the premier one.
Never mind. It is different companies. I think I saw them at the same time at GDC or whatever. Must have been the same.
And you just
publisher.
like associated them. Maybe
Yeah,
it was the same PR
publisher
person.
or something. Yeah. Never mind.
The third one's Armello.
Which looks crazy. I was like, what the heck is this game? This looks
Yeah.
hardcore.
I remember doing my PAX episode of Final Bossman 2 years ago and looking at that game.
Oh.
Yeah, indie games take forever to make. I feel so bad because they're like working on it so hard all
Yeah,
year long.
just a
for
couple
years and
guys in
years.
a room.
Yeah.
just-
Because that's the thing, everybody, is I wish for the best for all 3 of these games. It's really hard to pick one and just be like, this is the one I want for free. And it's just like, so part of it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean?
I have a question.
Sure.
Does this mean that we won't get more than one game? Because like right now you get like 2, 3 sometimes free games.
per platform one though. Recently, it's been
No.
one.
There
per
are usually
platform, I
like
think.
2 PS4
Yeah,
games
I
Yeah.
think
at a time,
one,
or 3 sometimes.
I think one is chosen,
Yeah.
and then you vote on the other
Oh,
one.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
As
So
long
like,
as I still get the same amount of free stuff.
usually it's like one new game and then one old stinker. Like this month, it's like you can play Limbo. It's like, all right.
What? No, they've got Lara Croft.
Lara Croft?
and,
Temple
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Osiris.
Yeah.
I'm going to play with Ruari.
And Limbo.
But Limbo on
And one other
PS4
one, I think.
is like
New.
newer, yeah.
Okay, and Lara
Yeah.
Croft is the old one, so I switched
No,
those
this
around.
Lara Croft is new.
Well, it's from December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Newish.
Right. But Limbo just released on
New
PS4,
to
I guess.
you.
Yeah.
New to you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for being mean about Limbo. It's just one of those games to me.
I finished it for the first time a couple months ago.
You
on
just
Vita.
don't like it
Really?
because it started a whole trend of
shadow
silhouette
puppet
games.
Little
Yeah.
little like flash animated shadow
Yeah.
puppets.
Yeah, it was a cool look, but
Yeah.
then 800 other games did it, and I'm like, Badlands, stop it! You missed the boat.
So is there anything negative about this voting?
Just that like that idea that you can't just a rare game can't get rewarded because it won't be popular. I think.
Yeah, at first I thought it was kind of negative, but after this conversation, you turned me around a little bit, Hubert, because you're right on the money. Like, I didn't expect that having 3 games up for voting would actually cause people to do research on them. I think most people would be lazy and go for like they're voting for a president. Just look at the guy you saw on TV the most, right? But it's curious to see actual results from people doing research and people digging and looking at reviews and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually like some good stuff. If most people don't research, but some do, it still has a positive effect, I think.
Cool.
Very cool. All right, so our official GT stance is that it's good news.
Good news.
Xbox, if you want to do it at Games and Gold, please go ahead. Games with gold.
Games with gold.
Games for gold. Okay, moving on. Konami is a bad place to work. We're doing a quick episode. I don't know how much I want to talk about this. Nikkei's article from last week has been translated and kind of just officially in English explains to us how awful of a place Konami is to work at this present time. Does the panel want to talk about this at all?
Do some bullet points, and then maybe people will understand why we don't want to talk about it.
So here's the thing: is basically in Japan, it's very hard to fire people. There's a lot of laws in place that make it hard to fire a person who works for you. And so what a lot of Japanese companies do is just make your life miserable so you quit. So it's not on them.
That's not unique to Japan.
This was not in the article, by the way.
That sort of stuff's not unique to Japan. That's basically any corporate environment. Continue.
It's not any corporate environment because it goes to extremes. It goes to cutting people off, making sure you're in your room all day long, making sure you don't take, like, watching your breaks, watching your lunch breaks. If you take a long lunch break, you're shunned. Imagine if that happened at GT.
That has happened before.
No, but just like it's.
There were Damiani lunches, but those were extraordinary, like 4 or 5 hour lunches.
The word incarcerated was used in quotation marks for Kojima, that he's been incarcerated in his office since the announcement up until the launch in September.
That team's been cut off from internet access on their computers, which I don't even know how that works, but
Yeah.
okay.
Can you imagine how he could possibly work on Metal Gear Solid 5 with no internet and email?
Want is answers about this. I want the definitive Jeff Keighley documentary inside the mind of Kojima at Konami. I want answers. What the hell is going on?
As soon as his contracts are over,
Gosh.
I bet we'll hear about it.
So, well, the Nikkei article, am I pronouncing that right? Whatever. Goes in. Nikkei, you're right. Nikkei goes into description about 2010 was a big turning point for Konami because a game called Dragon Collectors or something came out. It's a mobile game, made a ton of money for a very low budget. And remember, in 2010, console sales are weird. Console game sales are weird. And it looked like this is our future. And basically, ever since then, less and less commitment has been put into console games. And just even like games that I don't even know or care about, like Love Plus. Like the producer directors of those have been just tormented, just like not given any budgets, but also not fired. So it's just like, you still work here, but
But they
don't
said they've
do
been
anything.
losing a lot of talent, though.
Yeah, exactly. And people are they are leaving, they are getting fed up and quitting, but
Is it just
nobody's
like-
getting fired.
Is the corporation more sacred than the individual in Japan, or why? This seems so weird to me.
They consider you a traitor if you leave.
Oh.
Well, yeah, that's the one detail that they had is a guy was talking about getting a new job, and then a couple of people liked the Facebook post, and
Yeah.
then they got like moved off of their projects.
Yeah,
and
everyone who clicked
reassigned.
like was reassigned.
Oh my
Jeez,
God.
that's crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
that just feels not legal, but I don't know how things work in Japan. but-
I mean, it's just so depressing because of how long he's worked on Metal Gear and how long he's been there. Kojima.
Yeah.
And he's basically devoted his entire life to this franchise.
Him and many other people.
I mean, multiple times though he has said that this would be his last Metal Gear. How many times has he said that? He said it about 3, I think. He's for sure said it about 4. And I feel like they're the ones betraying him.
And like the idea that he doesn't say "F it, I'm out," that he just stayed on the game this whole time really
Yeah.
breaks my heart. He
Yeah.
cares about this game
so much. He wants it
Oh
out.
man.
You can't blame him for his sense of pride on a project like that. And, I'm sure he doesn't want to abandon his teammates and abandon
Yeah.
the livelihood of them as well, right?
Going down with the ship.
He wants to see it done. Let's put it that way. Probably.
So, as depressing as it is, I think the best case scenario is that it is. You okay in there? Ian?
I'm all right. I just dropped my phone.
Okay.
Fallout Shelter came out on the Android.
You're
apparently.
right.
All right. There's a little factoid, a little news piece for you.
Real news piece.
It happened today.
I think the best case scenario is that this is the final Metal Gear Solid game, and that through all this, maybe he's even made a point to make it like
Until
the
they make
final
another
game.
one.
Maybe he even has added a couple scenes or a couple segments in the game to really finish it.
No, he does that every time. Every time he closes that
Yeah,
door, he
yeah,
really does.
yeah.
Actually, no. Maybe if there's I'll be convinced, Huber, if the credits end and then nothing, there's no conversation with
Yeah.
white text on the bottom of the screen.
And it just says the end.
Yeah.
Done.
I have to imagine that those are the things that are usually written in the first 25% of the script.
Oh, that'd be so. You know what'd be so cool is like it's like a phone ring. It's like bling 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 bling. It's like hello. Sorry, wrong number.
No.
The end.
The phone rings, and spoiler alert for anyone who has not finished Metal Gear Solid 4, my hand will drop when the spoiler is over.
What if I'm listening?
Oh gosh, just.
I'm sorry.
say it.
I'm sorry.
I'll stop screaming when the
20 seconds. The phone call will be David Hayter, old Snake from retirement, conversation with someone, just like I'm on
Ooh,
the beach.
Huber, I actually love
That's
that.
it.
On the beach?
Yeah, just hanging out. That's it. How good would that be?
I'm on a beach.
Yeah.
Probably
I'm
not.
so
I'm
into
done
it.
screaming now.
It's
Yeah.
it's sunny. She just like finished grocery shopping and she's like, "Hey, Uncle Snake, how are you doing?"
Yeah. I would love it.
Maybe we should call him Uncle David.
And then hopefully Kojima, I'm sure he's a valuable asset to anyone. Hopefully like some first party, Sony specifically would
I'm not ready to start talking about that.
Yeah.
pick him up.
I'm
His next
convinced
job?
he's making a movie
No.
anyways.
Yeah, or he's going to go make a movie with Del Toro.
I think honestly that's gonna happen.
that would be amazing.
I'd rather a video game. I'd rather have a video game. What's up, Matt?
But there's a lot more people at Konami than just Kojima, and a lot of people are in
course.
a really bad spot. And my one attempt to try to logically explain why that's happening is probably because since it's so hard to fire people, you can't lay people off. For some reason in America, we think that's two different things. It's not. It's the same concept. You just fire somebody nicely with a gift. But if you can't lay somebody off, and you have to maybe they have to try to make room so that they can hire different talent. So maybe they can go a different direction. They're going about it in such a terrible way that maybe it's the only way they know how. But maybe they have to try to make in America, it's like you lay people off so that you can hire entry level so that you go a different direction. Maybe this is their crazy screwed up way of unsuccessfully doing that. That's the only logical way. Sorry, let me restart. Only logical way that I can explain it, and it's being done poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hurting their image at this point. They got to pump the brakes.
Pump him.
Pump the brakes.
Season 3, The Strain episode, directed by Hideo Kojima. Let's make it happen.
Ooh, that's a good bet.
Yeah.
That's a really good bet.
Yeah.
I'd rather
He's gotta
see
start
that than
somewhere.
a movie.
Yeah.
A Kojima movie would be so bizarre.
Just
Yeah.
come in for the strain,
awesome.
get his
Never
feet
mind.
wet.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Like Del Toro's got like his arm around his seat while he's directing.
Yeah.
He's just like letting Kojima direct, but he's actually
Yes.
like, you know what? I think maybe you should do it a little different.
Please.
Yeah.
I love picturing like people just being super good friends with
Absolutely.
Kojima. Like Jeff. I picture him and Jeff just like hanging out sometimes, and him and Del Toro just like chilling.
Mhm.
So cool.
Yeah. If only we could be so cool.
Yeah.
So I want to move on to Water Cooler Ranch. This week, hot topic amongst the office, the sprint button, and everybody's gone to the Rapture. Everyone's gone to the Rapture.
Everybody.
Is it everybody?
It's everybody's. yeah.
Okay, because everybody's body has gone to the Rapture. Bloodworth, tell me what the deal is with the
Everybody.
sprint button in this game. Why is this even a drama?
It's a drama because the game is the walking speed is fairly slow to begin with,
Okay.
and basically every reviewer called out that there is no run option.
Did you call it out?
I did call it out, and I had
Okay.
to correct it. But But one of the reasons that everybody missed it is that they didn't have it on the control diagram. And then the day after the reviews came out, the Chinese room wrote a blog explaining what happened. And apparently last minute testing, a bunch of people were pushing for them to have a sprint button. What they had before was like just some kind of automatic, you start moving faster if you're moving in the same direction or whatever. But people like the feel of holding a button, which I don't get because that just feels like going to make you tired after a while.
What is the button?
R2.
It's R2. But here's the thing, it still works the way that old system worked.
Okay, so it takes a while to reflect, which is why you can't
It
find
takes
it.
like 6 or 7 seconds before you start moving faster, and even then you're not moving that fast.
So when you press the button, nothing really happens immediately, so you just assume like, okay, this button does nothing.
Right.
It's not that fast, but I tell you, after a while,
After a while
you
it adds
notice
up.
you're like, wow, this is like I can't walk at that. Like when you go in a house, it force walks you, and you're just like, oh, come on. Even though I love the game and the experience is very beautiful, but
Yeah, I feel in some ways it may harm the game to know that that's there, because then it's like, yeah, like Ian was saying, it's like it takes you, like you're more,
You feel slower
yeah, you
when you're
feel
being
slower,
slow.
yeah. Whereas if you were just like, okay, I'm just going to accept it, this is the pace of the game.
What I don't understand
That's
is
why I'm so mad.
what, like, yeah, like set a pace that's reflective but not irritating, and then call it a day, or like have it be analog. So
Did
you
they have a
go
hard
faster.
deadline for this game that they had to meet?
Well, they had already announced it, and then, yeah, at a certain point you get a hard deadline.
The
Yeah.
R2, the run thing worked differently, yeah, and it was like a last minute shift.
I think people are impatient and they should accept the pace that was initially designed for the game and go with that speed and
It
really
was designed to auto run.
and really
Yeah.
soak in the environment and soak in the pace. I
Just
mean,
unfortunate
like it's so
timing.
annoying when you're RP in a game, you're a character in a game. Like characters don't just run. Like I'm gonna look in this bush. I'm gonna look in this up here in this house. I'm gonna look over here. Like
This is why you don't like the other control
just
schemes in Resident Evil.
Yeah,
Same thing.
just walking through, smelling the roses.
But here's the thing: the problem with this game is it was designed to auto run. That's why
Yeah.
it speeds
Right.
up.
Yeah.
should
So
have kept it.
walking slowly is not the way it was designed.
It was just some dumb playtesters.
Yeah.
they were like, I want to toggle
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
Testers ruin games. You heard it here first.
If it was a toggle, that would be way better though, because holding R2 gets annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and PlayStation 4 controllers R2 is not tops.
You take that back.
It's not tops.
That controller is perfect in every way, Bossman.
Should I slap him? Do I need to
yes,
slap
yes,
him?
please slap him, Blair.
It's a big improvement over the PS3's R2, which is the gushiest, stupid thing in the world.
Yeah,
The PS4 controller is the best controller that human hands have ever created.
mouse and keyboard.
That's the That's
Well,
the GameCube controller.
Oh,
gosh.
jeez.
Oh my! Now I'm gonna slap him.
Say goodbye to Bossman's mic.
No.
All right,
Face
so
this
we
way.
should move on to, well, you're the one who started this conversation.
I should have hit him
You
right in
should
the middle of
come
that.
every time for that. Okay, so we have a something from Mike Hook 1. Mike Hook.
Nice. What's up, Mike Hook?
Hey GT,
Mike Hook?
hey GT Time crew, how do you feel about the modern day pricing of video games? Should a AAA title still cost $60? Batman Arkham Knight was released at $60, and WB added a season pass of $40 to help offset the cost of selling the game at what they felt was too low to profit. Some journalists have claimed, i.e. Adam Sessler and Sessler something, games like Skyrim have enough content to warrant a $100 release given the high cost of development and the vast amount of content the game provides. Please complain.
No, people.
People complain, me included, about season passes. Please complain is real. I was like ready to go. People complain, me included, about season passes, costly DLC, pay to win, pay to unlock, like Mortal Kombat 10, and games dropping in price too quickly, like the Order 1886, which is dirt cheap right now. My question to the panel: is there a better way? Do publishers need to do this to avoid financial ruin, or are they just money-hungry greedos?
Greedos.
Whoa.
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 Greedos.
All right, explain.
This is gonna be a while. This is a long
No,
conversation.
No,
I'll
we
sum it
got
up very
this.
quickly.
We got a quick episode.
A lot of companies have a very set structure, and so they don't entertain the notion of other ideas and other ways to make a game or other ways to offer a game experience. We have a ton of different ways right now. You have small episodic type games that release digitally only. You have MMOs, which are membership based, which most of them still charge you $60 for. But an MMO is a type of game where they keep supporting it, keep adding content to the same game for a length of time. The membership is how they justify paying people to still make that game over years. You have to realize that to budget a game, you start with the money you have, and then you try to make it back. So it's really hard to plan for that sort of stuff, and that's why there's a really like set way of making games. That's why you have a bunch of development studios that make $60 games every couple of years, or in Ubisoft's case, you make one every year with 7 studios.
With a lot of DLC.
You have to adhere to a price standard for the type of game that you're making, and you can't really change the type of game you're making when you're 3 years in development and then suddenly you realize, oh crap, well, we should have charged differently, or we should have made a different game, or whatever. All of that stuff is kind of just defined by the society of game makers, right?
No. There's so many indie developers who are charging whatever, like all sorts of things.
That's a different way to make a game, but at the end of the day, like judging how much content you put in a game, or whether that's going to be worth 60 or worth 70 or worth 80 or whatever, you don't have a lot of freedom there.
How do you think the world would change, or video games would change, if there was like some kind of mandate where all video games had to cost $19.95?
Oh, it'd be the worst. That would be the worst thing.
Yeah.
That'd be so awful.
It'd be so weird. It'd be kind of cool.
You'd get a lot of episodic games, I bet, and I bet they would cheap it like that.
Yeah.
Like in movies, you pay the same price for tickets depending on the time of day and where the demand is, but you pay the same
It's
for
3D now.
an Avengers movie than you would for
good movie.
A good movie, sure. But they all have to they've all kind of come down to between 90 minutes and 2.5 hours usually, and then you just kind of say you're paying for the amount of time that you're going to be entertained, right? But games don't really do that.
Which I love.
Sometimes they do, because you're in an MMO and then you just pay a membership and it costs a lot of money to continue making that game available to you, so you keep paying for it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think 60 is a fair price. It's what you value. You know, I'm all about quality over quantity.
What do you think about 70? Can we talk about 70?
Well, I mean, I think that is kind of the weird thing, right? Because for the past almost 10 years now, probably about 10 years, we've been in the same price range, and everything else has gone up.
Yeah.
Japan definitely has less ties to that number. Like Final Fantasy 13, like it was a big hubbub when people found out that like the Japanese release cost $100 plus.
Really?
To get Final Fantasy 13, yeah. Because of how much it costs to make and all of that stuff.
And, we don't want to skip over it, but people in Europe and Australia even, you have the added cost of imports and things of that nature, but the prices are skewed all over the world, actually, and we're pretty lucky in America to not have that, really.
Yeah.
It's fair.
The thing it's kind of interesting, Blair, that you brought up movies, because that's how I kind of gauge entertainment costs. So, like, to me, movie ticket, like, $12 equates to 2 hours of being entertained. Well, now it's like $14. But, like, so if a game, adheres to that, generally I'm happy. And usually you get a better deal, because, like, a game will last 100 hours. Like, I've got, like, 200 or 300 hours in Bloodborne right now. I paid $60 for that. So, like, they're paying me at this point.
Do you guys think that a game could be successful if it launches at $70 though? If it's a game like Bloodborne, where people are playing it for hours and hours and don't even care? Like, what if Metal Gear Solid 5 launches at $70? Could it succeed, or will people get mad?
People no matter what would be mad, but it would still
Look
succeed.
at Ground Zeroes.
people would be
They
mad.
had to drop it $10 because people were complaining so much
Yeah.
about it, and it's like, yes, okay. Well, how do you measure that? I got 1 hour out of it because I hit credits and got mad, and I broke the disc in half. But you played it for 60 hours.
Yeah, I played every single mission, normal and hard.
I didn't-
Looked for everything.
Did you
I
actually
didn't
break the disc in
No,
half? Okay,
no,
I was really
I'm
concerned.
just saying,
All right.
like,
I didn't
some
play
people got
60
really mad
hours,
about the
but-
length and then said, well, did I get my money's worth, versus somebody else who was more than happy to replay it over and over again and get 500 hours out of the same product. So how do you really judge the average value? Like, how do you figure out how to
Well,
it's
also,
only a
like-
good deal versus the other games that you can buy, right?
Yeah.
Because that's all we have to compare it to. It's
I
like,
know- I
why
don't-
would this be $70?
Well,
This game's only 60.
You
blah,
think
blah, blah.
about something like Gone Home, or Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, or Ethan Carter. They're all $20. Gone Home is a 2-hour experience. I loved it, but
A lot of people
it
say
was
$20. No
for
way.
2 hours is a lot of money for I mean,
Yeah.
that is expensive.
What
Yeah.
really gets
Despite
under
it
my
being great.
skin is the Batman hate for the season pass. You paid $60, you got your main game, everything
full
else.
game.
A full game for $60.
Yeah.
You got Batman Arkham Knight.
That is a full game.
Uncompromised.
Yeah.
The DLC is for obsessive
Uncompromised.
people like myself that just live and breathe Batman and will pay any price for anything Batman. You're not missing out on anything. You can buy everything individually if you value a certain piece more than another. You don't need those race tracks, you don't need those skins, but you want to play as Batgirl. Okay, $7 or $8.
We got 6 minutes.
Teams are making that. They're still working on that DLC. We have yet to see all the good stuff. Everyone's been hating. We haven't even seen the villain invasion stuff yet, and everyone's just jumping to conclusions.
2 things. First of
We'll
all,
give you one thing, Matt.
no.
One
Okay.
thing.
One
One
thing.
and a
We
half
got
things.
5
Okay.
minutes.
The $60 for PC people, like, it was a huge mess when it released and stuff like that. But anyways, that was kind of rectified. We don't need to go into it. The main thing, though, is that for a season pass, you don't really know what you're getting when you pay for it.
Well, they came out before, and
They can give you a big piece of paper or a big web page with a list of names on it saying, here's all these things that you're probably going to get. But the point of the fact is, like, you pay $40 now, you don't get any of that
You
content.
can still buy it now, though. The game's been out for months.
Time for bets.
Yeah.
You can buy it whenever.
I actually really like this solution. It's like, make the Hubers pay $100.
Exactly.
Don't make everybody pay $100. Just
Exactly.
pay.
They
like,
didn't make anybody pay $100. The $40 extra is optional. You pay $60, you get the
Exactly.
game, you take it home, you play it, fine.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
$40 for a season pass, people feel like they're forced into playing it. For some reason, people can't get their heads
This is
around
how
that
you-
concept.
yeah.
You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
They do charge the Hubers $100. You don't have to buy the season pass.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty cool. So Mike Hook, sorry, thank you for starting that conversation. Sorry, I had to get abbreviated. We never even heard what Blood had to say.
If it says Batman,
For listeners, that was a fat wallet slapping the table.
You should put your wallet in your front pocket. That's terrible for your alignment.
Blood, you should get final say on that, actually. I want to hear your opinion.
idea.
yeah,
I'm gonna
but
Wait, no,
3 minutes.
Let's move on.
No.
Quickly.
He doesn't want to talk. Don't force him to talk.
What's your controversial opinion on
Move
how,
on.
how much games cost these days?
So we should move on.
Okay, so you don't care. You think everybody should keep paying 60.
yeah, Blood doesn't
Why are
care.
you forcing him to
There it
talk?
is,
You have
on the
2
record.
minutes.
All right, time for bets. Zombie with no U at the end releases for download only on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One next week. When the official Ubisoft Twitter account, which is at Ubisoft, tweets about the release, how many total retweets and favorites will that tweet have at this point next week? If there are multiple tweets about the release next week, we will pick the highest. If you do not believe there will be a tweet, you may bet 0. I think Bloodworth, you're first to go this week.
Okay. This is tricky. These Ubisoft tweets get a lot more than I expected, but I'm going 287.
Okay. This is favorites and retweets added together, everybody. Matt Blair. For Brandon Jones.
166. I think it's going to tank.
Oh, God.
Game's already out. The
No
game's
love
already
for
out.
Zombie?
I don't think there's a lot of traction for it. I think it's going to tank.
I think everyone loves zombies, so I bet 399.
Oh, my God.
You were for the super seat.
I'm out of my mind.
Oh no, what's
Uh-oh.
wrong?
Oh my. 555.
A lot of symmetry in these numbers.
555. That's a great number. That's a good looking number.
66, 99, 55.
Could you just not think of a second number to write?
I'm gonna lock those in. Okay.
All right.
You had a hard time with that one.
I got the high. bet.
Yep. And
got
then
the high.
you got the high bet at least.
Yeah.
Let's talk about last week's bets. Everyone's gone to the Rapture. Everybody's gone to the Rapture. Released on Tuesday. This was announced 3 years ago from the Chinese room. Developers of Amnesia: Machine for Pigs. And Dear Esther, how long will the end credits of the game be? Let me see what everyone bet. In the super seat, Brad bet 3.5 minutes. Bloodworth bet 11. Jones bet 1:20. I bet 1:32. The actual
That's
length.
Brad Ellis right there.
Is that how you feel? You feel like
Yep.
that was a good bet?
Brad Ellis.
Actual length of the credits,
Brad Ellis.
8 minutes 44 seconds.
Oh, mine would have been perfect. I said 6:30.
So Blood gets it again?
Yeah. Yeah, Blood gets it. Actually, I think Blood still would have gotten 6:30.
Really?
It's 8:44. Yeah, I think
Oh,
Blood
yeah.
still would have gotten that one too.
Bloodworth.
And actually, Blood did a good job with the research. If it was just the Chinese room, it would have been 3 minutes and 20 seconds. However, because Sony published it, once you get into those Sony credits,
You're always the worst.
yup.
Sony Montreal, Sony Santa Monica, Sony Japan.
Yeah, this
Sony
guy works for our
America.
website.
Yeah.
This lady works on our designs for our
My
napkins.
son. This is
yeah.
my son.
Yeah. Oh my God. This-
Sony had this many babies during the
They also
development of
have
this game.
the text string at the end, which has already been deciphered by some people on Reddit.
That doesn't count as credits,
Shh. Spoilers. Quiet.
though. Did you count that as credits?
You said text. Any text.
No, we said first name to last name.
Oh, shenanigans.
Whatever.
You did say first name to last name.
Are there shenanigans at hand, Bloodworth?
There's no shenanigans.
Get
Wait,
your
Bloodworth
brooms.
counted it?
I don't
Whoa. I'm taking
I
my
had- I
headphones
told him
off.
where it was.
Spoilers.
No. There's just a secret code at the end.
Okay.
Not a spoiler.
Yeah, it's just binary or not binary, but.
But what does that
something
save us? Like 20 seconds? I don't
Blood
think it's
worth
enough to
counting
get
it.
scales.
Yeah, blood.
I mean, yeah, he wouldn't make a difference probably.
No.
It might make
All
a
your
difference.
bets are pretty bad.
You're right. Yeah,
Unless
yeah,
it drops like 2
I gave him the
minutes.
start
you still
times of
win.
It
all
would
these
have to
different
drop 2
things.
minutes for Blood. Okay, so Blood, we'll give you the point. You're now at 13. Super Seed has 10. Jones has 5 with a lightning bolt. I have 6. Bloodworth, with winning the bet, you not only get to tell everyone what your Twitter handle is, you get to promote any episode of any show or any video you want to on our own website, and you get to close out the show with your own custom sign-off.
So my Twitter handle is @dbloodworth2. You can find me there and whatever I'm tweeting about. And then we've been doing this crazy 30 reviews thing. It's split up into 3 episodes because it's the only way we could feasibly do it. So on Rare Replay, and the last one of those will go up tomorrow. And it's been a wild ride.
Tomorrow is Friday.
Friday, yeah.
What's the date today?
Tomorrow
It's
is the
Friday.
14th.
Tomorrow's the 14th.
August
It'll be
14th.
there.
It'll be up.
But yeah, so check those out. It was definitely interesting to go back through the Rare archives and play games that I've played before and games I haven't played before, and just check them all out. And it's a good collection.
What's an example of a game you never played before that you finally had the opportunity to play?
Viva Pinata?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you have to kill anything that you felt bad about is my question.
I didn't kill anything myself, but yeah, the first time that something starts eating something else, you're like, wait, what's happening? But then you realize it kind of has to happen.
It's a brutal game. It's very brutal.
It's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Leave us your comments and your questions and your conversation starters, and we'll see you before the next Blood Moon rises.
I love.